Hey, so in this video I will show you how to make German Leberkäse at home. For meat you need first like a beef brisket or chuck, then pork butt, pork back fat, and then for the spices you need to have salt and cure number 1, onion powder, white pepper, cardamom, paprika, mace, nutmeg, and some ginger powder. And then you also need to have some kind of a binder. I use cutter phosphate. You need to see what you can get there. It's to bind it with the crushed ice later on, but I have it in the description below. So first of all, we need to cut the meat into strips. Strips always work better than cubes. The size depends on how big your meat grinder is. Also the fat, cut it down into strips, and then you can put the salt and the spices on. And now mix it together very thoroughly. And after that you can put it into the freezer for 1 to 2 hours. And once it's frozen, like semi-frozen, you can put it into the meat grinder and get it through the finest perforated disc. You can also put it through twice. This way the mass gets finer and the next step will be much easier. Speaking of the next step, now we put it into a food processor. First the meat goes in, and then also the salt and the cutter phosphate. And now you can put on the food processor and continuously add the crushed ice. Always scrape the whole mass to the bottom. Have a look that everything gets chopped very finely. And in the end it should look like a very consistent and very fine mass, which is called Bret in German. Yeah. It should look like this, should have like a very good binding. And the next step now is to oil a mold where you put it in so it doesn't stick. That's the important part. And now you need to really slap the mass into the mold. Make sure that you don't ruin your whole kitchen, but it's... Oh, that went wrong. So that's what I meant. But it's important because you want to have as little of air bubbles as possible, because later on when we cut it, it will look much nicer when there's less air in it. Now you can get a knife and cut a cross pattern into the surface. This way it will look very nice once we bake it. The baking process is a 2-step process. First step is to bake it in a 180 degrees or 356 Fahrenheit oven for around 50 minutes, and then reduce the temperature to 120 degrees, 248 Fahrenheit, and finish the baking for around 1 hour. You can then let it cool down for 10 minutes or cut into it directly like me, and then realize that the camera broke down, so there will be unfortunately no cross section, but I plated it up nicely and I hope that also works. Yeah, look at it. It looks very good. You can see it's a fine mass. You can enjoy it with mustard or sweet mustard. As always, the instructions and the ingredient list are also in the description and in my article below. If you liked the video, I would love to see you as a subscriber. Enjoy it, comment it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And other than that, see you in the next video. Bye bye.